Wow. Seinfeld theme. Howdy. Been a wacky couple of, well, not couple, I guess. A wacky one half of one day for me. How are you guys doing? I mean it when I say this is a bonus stream. It's not going to go long. I haven't even showered. I wasn't able to shower. Due to a series of tragedies which befell me. You know, leaving aside the basic one of me getting woken up early by Artemis tomfoolery. I had the man, I had the weirdest experience yesterday. Oh yeah, happy 9/11 everyone. Woo! You wish, Sake Tanuki. You wish. Now we'll be talking about 9/11 related stuff today, I'm afraid. How do you feel about The Little Mermaid? Like all live action Disney remakes, it looks like absolute garbage. Every single element of these live-action remakes is artistically irredeemable. I would rather them have been made by AI, because at least AI is not capable of contempt. We'll check the Swedish election in a second. Shut the fuck up or I won't. I'll entertain you. Why do you always watch these movies even though you hate them, lol? I don't watch them. I watch other people break them down. I am contemptuous of them. I will not give them my money. And also, why would I waste my time watching them? Like, it just seems like why? What do I get from that? What movie? The live-action Disney remakes. What makes this a bonus stream? Because I said so. Oh, God. I recently saw the original Austin Powers. The original Austin Powers is dope. Thanks for streaming, Vosh. It's been a stressful day. It won't last long. God damn it. Okay. So, like, to reiterate for people who don't know, the ear bandage, it's because I had cryotherapy done on my keloids. Which means that they freeze it with liquid nitrogen so that they kill all of the individual cells, which discourages regrowth. And essentially, the keloid just rots off. It's not literally rotting. The biological processes associated with rot aren't actually present. It's more just like it decomposes. Does it hurt? Not really, no. Um, but uh, the other day, some wacky stuff, man. So the keloids are still there. They're just like slowly shrinking. Um, but after they're frozen and all the cells inside them are killed, it's basically like the biological equivalent of an unstable building. You know, like the building might still be up, but it's not structurally stable. And it's inevitable that it's going to collapse. You know, yeah, much like the Twin Towers. Um, and you know, it makes them behave kind of wacky. And basically, the other day, last night, when I was changing the little bandage on my ear, I took it off. Which, of course, you know, you have to like rip the bandage off because the bandage fuses with the the blood and stuff. And blah blah blah. Gross, gross, gross. Anyway, I took the bandage off. You know, I was gonna do the thing. You know, you put the new bandage on, whatever. Um, and then I feel like a tick tick on my shoulder, and it turns out that my ear is fucking like pouring blood, cause like because the keloids are like broken biologically, all the processes that clot blood aren't like working reliably. So just a fuck ton of blood came out, and it actually took like a whole hour of me like soaking the blood to make it stop coming out, you know? It's all part of the process, really, though it never got that bad before. But, like, wow, some wacky shit right there. Got all over the goddamn place. I had to clean it up because I was afraid the fucking cats would lick it. I mean, of course they would. They're cats. It's blood. How did you get them? Ear piercings. People have a genetic predisposition to them. Yeah, anyway, whew. That took a while to stemmy the flow. Wacky stuff there. Anyway, the reason why I didn't shower before the stream, and the reason why this is going to be a short stream, the reason this is going to be a short stream is because I hate streaming if I haven't showered yet. And the reason I haven't showered yet is because in order to shower, I have to change my bandage. And I'm worried that if when I change it again, the same thing is going to happen, which means that if I did that, I wouldn't be able to stream. Because, like, I can't stream while I'm, like, you know, with, like, obviously, I would, you know, I would have to delay the, you know, shower stream? No. So with all that out of the way, how you guys doing? Look at my Little Mermaid meme, please. No. Okay, I looked at it. Thank you, Alex Gunter. What's worse, live-action anime or live-action Disney movies? Live-action Disney movies. Live-action anime is generally low budget and super cheesy and fun to watch on that merit alone. Live-action Disney movie animated remakes are soulless cash grabs that are incredibly culturally dominant while leaving no actual long-standing effect on, like, popular culture, you know? Like, think about it. The live-action Lion King remake is one of the highest-grossing movies of all time, despite being absolute garbage. Nobody posts memes of it. Nobody casually references it. All online culture surrounding The Lion King refers to the animated one, which made less money by far. Yeah, live action. You know what I mean, live action. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. Did you see Hinkle on Tucker Carlson saying Biden is controlled by Soros? No, I did not, but it's not surprising to me that he would say that. Stop with the links. Oh my god. Every stream. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the other YMS video on that. Can't you get some clotting powder for that? I have clotting powder. That's the only reason why it stopped after an hour. You excited to see dwarves in 40K? No more questions. Stop interacting with me. Shut up. We're going to talk about 9/11. Right now. Nine 11 is a collection of two numbers, but it's also a date. It's the date that the world ended. Kind of, in a weird allegorical way. Take a look at this footage. 'As much fun as we have with the jokes, and I do not care about 9/11 jokes, we shouldn't let the irreverence diminish our materialist analysis of the situation. And, you know, in order to engage in that, no, 9/11 footage is not TOS, you idiots. You fucking moron. You seriously think 9/11 footage is TOS? You really think this stuff isn't on YouTube? Come on. In order to engage in that materialist analysis, wow. I don't think I've ever seen this angle before.
Oh my lord!
You have to appreciate the surreality of, like, after the first plane crash, you know, a lot of people on the ground in New York are thinking that it might have been like an accident, you know? Like some kind of like an air traffic mistake or some kind of malfunctioning equipment on the plane. And then the second plane goes in, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Um it, you know, if you want to engage in a proper analysis of 9/11 and the horrific consequences it has had on the cognitive functionality of the average American, you have to acknowledge the fact that, jokes aside, it was actually a pretty big deal. A really, really, really big deal, you know? One of my favorite pieces of 9/11 related analysis is in the episode done by the podcast Well, There's Your Problem, which talks about you know, quite a lot. And some of the stuff that I'm saying is going to be lightly synthesized from there. You know, there are plenty of places you can go for 9/11 analysis, but I like them and I trust them, and I think that they're a good place to go looking. You know, if you want to get some information on anything related to a disaster, which 9/11 most certainly was. So here's the thing, okay? To what brought us to this point? You know, what brought us to here right now? That Jesus. You know, the speeds and the you know, the mass that is being sort of referred to here in the universal calculations on these planes crashing into the towers. I mean, the numbers involved, like, these planes are just melting as they crash into the buildings. Incredible stuff. Look, I know a lot of people who watch me are kind of young, and I mean, I'm also kind of young, but you have to understand. In the 1990s, the world was done. It was over. History was finished, okay? End of history theory. We did it, baby. After the Cold War ended, there was nothing on Earth that even remotely challenged American hegemony. You have to understand, nothing compares to the arrogance of 1990s America. The Cold War was over, Boris Yeltsin was in charge, and he was allowing Western corporations to essentially rape Russia and do whatever we wanted with post-Soviet states. You know, shock doctrine was in full effect. China had not yet experienced its gigantic economic boom, not to the extent that it later would, with Dengist reforms encouraging market growth to the extent that it would really start booming. So for that time, like in the 90s, we were uncontested. Nothing else even came close. You know, obviously the idea of history ending is kind of ridiculous then and in retrospect, but the idea of America being this, like, untouchable, sort of immovable force of history. I can't really blame the average American for falling into that line of thinking, right? Because you think of the progression of the 20th century, right? You had at the beginning of the 20th century, you know, we were still reeling from the effects of early industrial modernization. We had the Great Depression, we had World War One, not necessarily in that order. We had World War Two, where we fought the biggest war ever, and then won. And then we had the Cold War, and then we won that. And then finally, no one else stood. It was just us. It was just America. And all the other strong countries in the world were our allies. Western Europe was our ally. We were making an effort to bring former Soviet states over to us. You know, it was done. It was over. Um, and that you know, it really is like the pride before the fall, because that arrogance established the mindset that would be demolished, you know, both literally and figuratively, as Osama bin Hussein Mohammed von Laden personally remote controlled two planes into the World Trade Center towers. Barack Obama, you know, when he did that. Um, you know, obviously everybody knows that that Bin Laden, you know, there was that article written on him after he, as a member of the Mujahideen, with American backing, helped oust the Soviets from Afghanistan. There was an article on him like building the road to peace, like he had a sort of personal army that he was like building roads in Sudan, I believe. Western media praised him because at the time, you have to understand, at the time we didn't think of Muslims as like the idea of like the civilizational war between the West and Islam. That's a modern thing. That's a post 9/11 thing. Before 9/11, the greatest cultural impact, especially towards the end of the Cold War, that our relationship with the Muslim world, was the most resounding sort of message was the idea that we'd worked with, we'd worked with the Mujahideen, we'd worked with the Islamic fighters to push back the Soviets. Obviously, we weren't like allies with the Muslim world or anything like that, but the idea of it being some kind of grand existential battle between our side and theirs just wasn't really it wasn't really a thing. It was more like they were this is very racist, so I hope you'll forgive me for iterating the point accurately, but we basically thought of them as a bunch of disorganized tribesmen with backwards ideas who could be weaponized in our favor, but as long as they could be weaponized in our favor, they were, like noble savages, kind of. That was the idea. Really, that was. Can anyone back me up on that? That was like a commonly held, like, oh, the Muslim world is fierce and the sands are hot, but the Soviet invaders were their back was broken in Afghanistan, and their back really was broken in Afghanistan. It's a testament to the relative strength of the American empire that we occupied Afghanistan for 20 years with basically no negative consequences to our domestic situation, whereas the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan did actually break their back. It was closer to Vietnam for them. And it was worse for them than Vietnam was for us. Yeah, just wow. The Soviet occupation of Afghanistan was a critical error. It was up there with like Hitler deciding to invade Russia. Just not a good idea. But anyway, at the time, our attitude towards the Muslim world, whatever that means, I don't know what that means. Whatever that means, it was kind of varied one. Obviously we'd had our kerfuffles with Iran, Saudi Arabia oil, but the idea of a grand civilizational conflict was not present at the time. And we had ourselves a little Gulf War. Bush Senior did a little some medically interesting stuff. Did a little trolling. Used a few a few 100,000 million rounds of depleted uranium on Iraqi armor. I want you how, okay, maybe you don't know. Depleted uranium rounds are very spicy. Okay, they're basically demon bullets. They're basically like bullets that we forge in hell. Depleted uranium rounds are insane. And we used, I think, millions of them fighting against the Iraqi army. Now think for a second. Do you think the Iraqi army and its capabilities justify the use of weapons like that? I mean, this would be like deploying a carrier group to intercept somebody who's fishing without a license. I mean, the idea of like, because depleted uranium rounds are expensive. The reason that we went in there, in the Gulf War, and we desert stormed it up. The reason we handled things the way we did is because it was reflective of our attitude in the post Cold War world. It was we were on top, and we were uncontested, and we were just, it's made from waste, it's only expensive because it's effective. You understand the point that I'm making here, right? I didn't mean it was $1 million a bullet. I'm saying like we used the Gulf War as a sort of a channel for our, at the time, uncontested imperial power, in a situation where it was not warranted. The Gulf War was a flex. Yeah, the military doctrine was shock and awe. I mean, Desert Storm. We were literally like blitzkrieging the Iraqi army. And for a bunch of reasons that were it was kind of complicated. Bin Laden didn't like that too much. Also, don't know about it not being warranted. Saddam had invaded Kuwait. I meant the way in which we handled the conflict. Guys, please follow through with me here. I'm not a historian. I'm just trying to cut through to the basics. We're talking about 9/11. I didn't say the conflict itself. There was nothing there. I just said, like, oh yeah, let's just use millions of depleted uranium rounds on this fucking post-Soviet tech while fighting an army that is so militarily inferior to ours that we probably could have just physically rammed their tanks with our helicopters and still won. Stop trying to prove you're smarter than me. You probably are, okay? I'm just trying to run this through. Oh my god. Anyway, the war happened. Bin Laden was salty about it, okay? Bin Laden was salty about a lot of stuff because Bin Laden correctly believed that the Middle East and the Islamic world broadly had been kind of fucked over by Western imperialism, that American arrogance was endemic of like a broader issue relating to the relationship between broadly the West and the Islamic world. Osama bin Laden, wacky guy. You know, after we murked him, we looked at his computer. He had memes of Evangelion, you know, on his computer. Wacky guy, you know. Also, by the way, a super wealthy fail son. If you didn't know, the Bin Laden construction group is one of the wealthiest and most prominent kind of well, construction facilitation companies that operates in the Middle East. You know, they've got a big family. Osama bin Laden is a derivative of that family. You know, if you're doing, you know, if you're if you're if you're doing something fancy in the Middle East, odds are you're working with the Bin Ladens. You know, we just know the one Bin Laden, the Bin Laden, yeah, the Saudi Bin Laden group, party to a U.S. 3.4 billion agreement to construct the Doha Metro located in Doha. That makes sense. The conglomerate comprises an estimated 537 companies. The group's founder was Mohammed bin Awad bin Laden, the father of Osama bin Laden. So we're talking about an actual fail son, you know? Like I like just imagine like if one of the Rockefeller sons like like distances himself from the business, becomes like a Christian extremist, and then goes down to like sub-Saharan Africa to lead like Christian militia groups to establish like you know like apartheid states, or yeah, it'd be like one of Elon Musk's kids like trying to rebuild Rhodesia. I mean it's very strange, but you know, um it's not that unbelievable. It's true. Incredible wealth and privilege does rot your brain. Very interesting stuff, you know. What's that one Elon kid, the one with the wacky name that no one can pronounce, you know? That person like travels over to China and becomes like one of the oh, what's the name of that cult in China? You know what I'm talking about. They have that conservative rag here in the States that's anti-China because they're not liked by the Chinese government. The Falun Gong, yeah. It'd be like that child of Elon Musk going over and joining the Falun Gong and like leading like militia revolts in like the countryside of China or something. It's just phenomenal stuff. Anyway, of course, when we think of Bin Laden, we think of Osama bin Laden. But if you want to do any construction work in the Middle East, you know, odds are you're going to at least be referred to them at some point. Um, but you know, Bin Laden, wacky guy, had some wacky ideas. Decided that you know, he'd had enough of American imperialism and was going to you know, stick his nose up at us. He wrote a big manifesto on why he did this. You can read it if you want. A lot of his reasoning is pretty straightforward. I don't agree with it, but it's pretty direct. You know, it has a lot more to do with American imperialism, I think, than it does like Islamic extremism. You know, the media later portrayed this as an act of Islamic terror, which it undeniably is. But the American media never really framed this as what it really was, which was a near inevitable backlash to American imperialism. This was the behavior like this um, is a consequence of certain sets of material conditions that America crafted with all of the ferocity and authority of a world superpower. Um, and nobody expected things to turn out the way they did, you know. This was, of course, you know, by far like the worst terrorist attack we had ever experienced. You know, one of the worst mass death events that we'd ever experienced. The idea of using a plane in this way as a terrorist was not something that was like taken that seriously, I don't think. Because at the time, usually when planes were hijacked, it would just be like a guy with a derringer would hold up the cockpit and like force you to land at a local rural airport and say, bring me $1 million in cash and I'm going to fly to Cuba and I'll let all the hostages go. Before, plane terrorism was more like, this is now a hostage situation, and the plane is both my hostage vehicle and my getaway vehicle. So the idea the idea of using a plane as just sort of a kinetic rocket, um to bring down something like the World Trade Center was just not like, it wasn't a thing that people thought about. Vosh, you need to clarify. Did you say the 2003 invasion of Iraq motivated bin Laden in 2001? Monty 05. There was another invasion of Iraq, the Gulf War, in response to the Saddam Hussein invading Kuwait beforehand, so orchestrated by Bush's father. No, guys, it's okay. We only talk about one Iraq war these days. Um, he did see into the future. He did use his crystal ball. If I recall correctly, bin Laden himself did not think the towers would collapse completely. Well, to be fair, nobody really had an accurate model for what would happen if you flew a plane of that size into a building. Like, there are things that engineers are expected to build models for, and there are things that they are not. You know, most planes, go to a skyscraper in New York, all right? Most New York skyscrapers are not going to have detailed engineering plans on how well it would withstand a nuclear detonation within 1 kilometer. Uh, the reason for that is because most people accept that if you're building contingencies for events like that, you're kind of fucked anyway. You know, the skyscrapers are built to withstand light collisions, heavy winds, earthquakes, bombs at their base. Something like a plane crashing into it. That's yeah, yeah. Um, oh, and to briefly address the controlled demolition, angle. I know this is a deeply unpopular attitude in lefty spaces, and I think this gets expanded upon further in the There's Your Problem podcast episode on the subject. But I don't think there was a controlled demolition, and I don't think 9/11 was planned by Bush. I think that it was allowed to happen through startling interdepartmental incompetence between our intelligence agencies and an incredible degree of arrogance on the part of essentially every American who could have stopped it, because we were a world superpower and we just didn't consider anything like this could happen. I think that, like, it was just like, it was the early 2000s, the 90s had just ended. I really think that a lot of the people working, the CIA, the FBI, any of the like State Department agencies that would have overseen threats like this, I really genuinely think that there was an interdepartmental culture of like playing it chill, being asleep at the wheel, because you don't want to be that one hysterical guy who's like, hey, we have evidence that like some of these people associated with bin Laden have gone to a flight school. Maybe like he's literally going to like disintegrate a building in downtown New York. I just, yeah, I think and if you don't think American officials are capable of that degree of incompetence, I would like to refer you to literally anything else American officials have ever done ever, as evidence that they are capable of that degree of incompetence. As for the controlled demolition angle, like, jet fuel can't melt steel beams. It's true, jet fuel doesn't burn crazy hot in open air. Paper can. Paper can melt steel beams. A collision with a plane can bend steel beams and break them. And jet fuel actually can heat steel beams to the point that they weaken significantly, which allows, if there's a heavy weight being supported by those beams, like say 20 stories of a skyscraper, to collapse downward. you know. It's so yeah, no, I don't think there was a controlled demolition. It's an unfeasible conspiracy theory. I think that a lot of people want there to be a conspiracy theory because the idea of America just being vulnerable to those kind of attacks is a threat to the impermeable arrogance that we held during that era. Like, nobody wants to accept that America, as strong and wealthy as we are, we can just have this happen. We can just have, like, you know, New York City, which is functionally, culturally, like, basically America's capital, you know. It can just be disintegrated, you know. Like, nobody wants to admit that there's no level of power that makes you immune to tragedy. So they want it to be a conspiracy because an inside job, you know, well, okay, well, so then it wasn't us being vulnerable. It was actually, you know, it was a plot, you know. There are plenty of legitimate engineering explanations for essentially every part of the 9/11 conspiracy. Building 7, for example, which is the building that seemingly collapsed without a plane actually hitting it. Building 7 had shared architectural faculties with the other towers. Namely, there were architectural supports and parts of the foundation that were directly connected to the other buildings, and the enormous damage done to the towers sort of sent ripples down through the underlying concrete superstructure and all of the associated foundational bearings, and caused enough of a disruption to bring down Building 7 as well. What happened to the Pentagon building? A plane crashed into it. The Pentagon also got itself flown into. There isn't crazy footage of that because there aren't actually like 500 tourists just chilling out outside the Pentagon at all times. By the way, I drove by the Pentagon while visiting DC a couple times. They really do not prepare you for how big that building is. They don't like You can see photos of it, but you really can't appreciate how large the Pentagon is unless you're nearby. It's unfathomable. It's the largest building I've ever been by far. It's not even close. It's colossal. It's like it's Titanic. Yeah, it's like a world wonder. It's insane how big it is. Pentagon 9/11 damage. Yeah, I'll show you the photo. Now the Pentagon is, of course, an armored building. It's incredibly well armored, you know. So the plane that flew into it, the damage that it did was relatively insubstantial compared to the damage that was done to the Twin Towers, you know. It rammed in here. There's a line here where you can see where the wings kind of like clip the sides. But the center mass of the plane sort of traveled forward like a kinetic torpedo, and just took out like a big chunk right here. You know, that's still a lot of damage. Yeah, planes are heavy. Planes are pretty big, actually. You know, armor can only do so much. Wasn't one plane supposed to hit the White House? I think so, yeah. I don't think there's any way a plane could hit the White House, though. I think the air defenses around the White House are wacky. I think they're wacky. I think they're they're pretty crazy. Yeah. They have some goofy air defenses around the Capitol, and they're only goofier now. Oh, they're much goofier now. How do you stop a plane from hitting you? Honest to God, with the security beef-ups that we saw after 9/11, I have a feeling that if a plane tried to get close to the White House, they would just activate the teleporter beam and just transport it into the sun. They would dodge. They would activate the boost thrusters on the sides of the White House to dodge out of the way of the thrust vectoring on these like hidden rocket canisters that they have all over the building. It would just stand up and mecha fight the plane. Um the plane crash is an inflatable decoy. Yeah, maybe that's why people weren't so worried about the January 6th riot. It's because that wasn't the real Capitol building. It was actually a giant hologram with holographic senators and stuff inside of it. The real Capitol building is like in the Earth's core or something. I don't know. Listen, okay, wait. Let's get back to the gravitas of the situation. Okay. Whoa, 9/11. It's actually a huge tragedy, guys. Like 3,000 people died. Oh, if you watch the well, there's your problem podcast episode, you can hear about how incompetence on the part of New York City's officials and cheap like lowest bid deals on equipment for their first responders is one of the reasons why so many police officers and firefighters got killed. Like it was like, here's some $5 Fisher Price radios. Here's the worst terrorist attack in human history. Good luck, that kind of stuff. Um Interesting stuff if you want, examples on how austerity and capitalism can cripple a city's ability to manage its own affairs. And another element of the 9/11 tragedy that goes completely unaddressed. The media doesn't talk about imperialism. The media doesn't talk about the effect that like cheap skinflinting on the part of the city budget. What that actually did, how that elevated the death toll. People are willing to cheer for the first responders, but investigate why the first responders died so much, and it's like, So, 9/11 happened. It wasn't great. A lot of people died. It basically rendered a huge portion of New York City inoperable due to a marauding cloud of dust and cancer that just sort of orbited the city. Incredibly traumatic event for a lot of people. I occupy a sort of Schrodinger space of simultaneously being very willing and able to make fun of 9/11 and make jokes, but also being like pretty respectful to how bad it actually was. I think when people make jokes about 9/11, we're mostly making jokes about how culturally dominant 9/11 became and all the insane shit that was justified because of 9/11. Like, I don't think people would make jokes about 9/11 if it weren't for the never forget, make it a national holiday, also let's invade fucking Iraq, stuff, Um yeah. Uh, so a lot of it is kind of like a contempt for that attitude, I think. Um, but I want to talk about that attitude, okay? I want to talk to the Zoomers. Now, I'm barely old enough to remember this, but like 9/11 broke the brain of America. It is impossible for me to explain or describe accurately and to the fullest possible extent how much 9/11 broke America's brain. You're talking about a level of cultural arrogance that was on par with like the height of the Roman Empire. And then this happened, you know? And this happened in an era where tragedy can be multiplied. The effects of tragedy can be multiplied substantially through the potential of the weapons that we use now. Like it's not like the like a setting fire to London or something where you can just have a baker leave the oven on overnight. The conceptual like terror of like just a plane can crash into a skyscraper and just like change the world, and it did change the world. Like, that's just not something that people thought, you know? And to go from the incredible height of arrogance that Americans held down to the post 9/11 situation was just the whiplash broke everyone's brain. Real, genuine brain damage. You can see it in an MRI. Do MRIs measure your brain? I forget which ones measure your brain. You can see it in a fancy doodad. Okay, there's real brain damage. Um, as evidenced by this, I want you to imagine what would have to happen in America today for presidential approval ratings for a person like George W. Bush to do this. For anyone. I want you to imagine 90% of Americans approving of any president. It's not possible. It can't happen. In the world today, in America today, it is not possible for 90% of Americans to approve of any one single president. It cannot happen. It is not possible. It doesn't matter how competent they are. Um, Yeah, another 9/11 would do it. I don't think so. If another 9/11 would just lead to both parties blaming the other, I think. Or more accurately, the Republican Party would blame the Democratic Party, and the Democratic Party would try to work through it, but then the Republican Party would legitimately make things worse, and the Democratic Party would point it out. And no, I don't think it's possible. Um, the post 9/11 cultural swamp was, I think, for anyone who was alive and sort of aware at the time, you can agree with me, maybe like the worst cultural state in American history. Because immediately after 9/11, the aesthetic of patriotism was not only omnipresent, but mandatory. If you were not a flag waving American, like you were with the terrorists. That's not a joke. Like that's an actual thing. Like like it was political suicide to not be a jingoistic like nationalist. Uh Interpersonally, like you had to be oorahing, let's get the terrorist. Freedom fries, because we were angry that the French were with us the Iraq war. Um Basically all popular culture shifted into being a virtue signal for the extent to which you personally loved America, you know? Um and this took so many forms. I mean, this was from like the like country music about how, we'll put a boot in their ass, it's the American way, like everyone's seen that Lindsay Ellis video on post 9/11 uh, musical trends, um but I think like it really is kind of like a cultural black hole. In a way, it almost makes The Matrix, the movie The Matrix, a lot more prescient because Agent Smith describes America at the turn of the millennium as the height of human culture. And shortly after that movie came out, 9/11 happened. And I think he was right. Um, because 9/11 was a cultural pit that we never recovered from, by the way. We never actually got over it. It's still happening right now. All American politics today almost like are like completely dictated by the legacy of 9/11 and by the cultural trauma of being on top of the world and then being reminded that we were still vulnerable, you know? Um Everything that we do is motivated by the fear and anxiety that was instilled in every American. When we were reminded that no degree of like no level of power um can actually like sate our it can never actually protect us. And I think like that's the real reason that the Iraq war happened. That's like the real reason everything happened, you know? I think that's one of the reasons that the idea of America as the world's police like really ramped up because immediately after the end of the Cold War, I don't think America world police was as common of an attitude. It was more like now that the Cold War is over, we can finally build relations with the rest of the world. We were like the peacekeepers. We weren't, of course, but that's what we thought of ourselves as. Like after the Cold War ended, like now it's time for us to all build the world back together, you know? But after 9/11, I think that kind of ended, and we just kind of the whole like police the world police attitude ramped up, I think, because I think even if people didn't want to like say it out loud, I think that they what a lot of people really believed was that for a lot of the world, especially the Muslim world, like the only tolerable world is one in which they live under our boot. Like 9/11 can't be allowed to happen again, and the only way to prevent it from happening again is to exert essentially limitless and unmitigated control over the future of the world. Every corner of the world has to be broken and brought into line. Everything, every square inch of the planet has to be brought in line. And that attitude, it cultivates this culture of fear and anxiety that has just never gone away. You cannot get through a political speech these days, especially from the Republicans, but I mean broadly, without there being some, at the very least, underlying implicit degree of cultural anxiety concerning America's place in the world. Or if it's the Republicans, like an explicit, like we got to beat China, like that kind of thing. But even when the Democrats talk, we don't build our economy up for its own sake. We're competing with China, right? Like, we don't want anyone to be able to hurt us ever again. Now, it should be noted that this is an incredibly toxic and arrogant attitude to have towards world affairs. There is no level of power America can achieve that makes it impossible for people to commit terrorist attacks against us. We put forward the Patriot Act. We have instigated one of the most egregious and wide-reaching violations of our civil rights ever by allowing / enabling the mass surveillance of our communications. We've given the government an incredible amount of power to control and regulate our behavior. The TSA is a fucking nightmare. The Department of Homeland Security is a fucking nightmare. We were more fearful than ever before. And I want you to remember, by the way, that all of this insane control that we exert over our population now is post-Cold War. That is to say, back when we were fighting the Soviets, back when America literally had Soviet spies in it, back when our main antagonist was a nuclear power that could have ended the world just as easily as us, that literally had spies in America, and we had spies over there, at that time, when there was a real threat, we didn't have anything even remotely close to what that era's technological equivalent of the Patriot Act would have been. We didn't have the Department of Homeland Security, and we didn't have the TSA. You could just board an airplane while carrying a bunch of gallon jugs with opaque plastic concealing the material inside. You could just walk onto a plane with a bomb vest, and they'll be like, "Oh, don't use that while you're on the plane." You'd be like, "Won't." And those were the days. Those were the days. I'm only half joking. We were up against the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, which was well regarded for its intelligence capabilities, with its map making and its spy mastering, and we still didn't engage in the level of self-surveillance that we do today, even though the threat of nuclear war was infinitely, incomparably worse than anything that Islamic terrorists could do against us. But 9/11 broke us, and now we're permanently fearful, and now our fear is going to dictate every element of our foreign policy and our domestic culture, I guess forever. I think it's just a forever thing now. It might take like 3 generations. Ignore that, I hit the enter key. It might take like 3 generations to get through. Like everyone might just have to die off until nobody remembers 9/11. That might actually be what it takes. Does everyone who's watching, do you understand what I'm trying to get at here? This is what I mean when I say the world ended. Like, 9/11 killed a couple thousand people, which is peanuts compared to a lot of disasters that have happened historically. Not to say it's not bad, it certainly is, but the world didn't end every time several thousand people died. But 9/11 really did freeze America, and therefore, broadly the West, in an attitude that has not only crippled our ability to grow and move forward, but is actually rotting us away at the core. It's more an America thing than a West thing broadly, but America's cognitive deficiencies do kind of drag along the rest of what we consider the West, unfortunately. You can't fully divorce yourself from the impact and effect of American culture. The UK is very much like us in this respect. Yes, that is true. To what extent did America deserve it? It's kind of it's a dumb question, Hassan Memer. When we say, did the Americans who died deserve it? No, they were random fucking civilians. Of course they didn't deserve it. Did America as, a nation, as an imperial power, bring about the conditions which led to this? Absolutely. Was it our arrogance and our myopic unwillingness to acknowledge our vulnerability? Did these lead to it? Absolutely. So you can point to American incompetence. You can point to American arrogance. Whether it deserved is kind of like a moral statement. Is the world a better place because 9/11 happened? What did we get our just desserts? Was justice enacted? And the answer for that is absolutely not. The world is an unimaginably worse place as a product of 9/11. Not just for the deaths that happened, but for everything that followed. In fact, I would say the greatest tragedy of 9/11 is not, in fact, itself, the event, but everything that has, come after. Um, in a lot of ways, 9/11 truly was the burning of the Reichstag for America, wasn't it? Shame to see a building like that go up in flames. Now watch what we're going to do with that as a pretext. Of course, the burning of the Reichstag actually was a false flag, and I don't think 9/11 was, so you'll have to ignore that possible comparison. But the analogy that I am trying to draw here is that, you have a tragedy that's used as a pretext to justify a lot of really bad stuff. In the case of the burning of the Reichstag, it was, of course, the Nazis, which, which, who weren't good. That was bad. The Zoomies in chat don't understand the sheer level of Islamophobia after 9/11. Oh, yeah. I didn't even want to get to that because it's so fucking depressing. But you can't recount post 9/11 culture without, like, at least acknowledging the fact that if you were Muslim in America, basically overnight, you went from being treated, like, fine as a minority group. Like, not good. Don't get me wrong. There was plenty of discrimination against Muslims beforehand. But, like, you know, sort of more latent, more passive racism. 9/11 happened, and then holy shit, you could just do or say whatever the fuck you wanted to Muslim people. Like, right then, Like, Muslim kids in school would be bullied, or like, wow, you have a bomb vest? Do you have a bomb vest? People would lose their jobs. People would be fucking hate crimed in the streets. Like Muslim, like food-related restaurants, like Arab food or whatever, would be like trashed, rocks thrown through the window. They'd be lit on fire. Mosques would be trashed or graffiti. And this didn't just happen over a couple of weeks. This went on for years. Hate crimes against Muslims still haven't returned to pre-9/11 levels in America, as I understand it. It never went away. No, not just... Okay, everyone rushes to say not just Muslims, but also the Sikhs. But I don't know why that's, like, the most important. Like, it was overwhelming against Muslims, yeah, but Americans are stupid, and they say anyone with a turban, and they're going to think, oh, yeah, that's a Muslim, Yes, it was also directed against basically everyone with brown skin. Indians got hit with it. Sikhs got hit with it. Like, a lot of people got hit with it. Because Americans see, like, Muslimish... Muslim-esque people. Hindus? Yeah, fuck it, Hindus. Yeah, no, literally, like, just a lot of people. If people want to know how much 9/11 broke people's brains, just look at Frank Miller. Ah, yes, Frank Miller. Frank Miller, who wrote The Dark Knight Returns, widely considered to be one of the best comics ever written. And then after 9/11, after 9/11 happened, he wanted to make a story of Batman going into, like, Afghanistan and killing Muslims. And when DC wouldn't let him use Batman to kill Muslims, he just made an independent comic called Holy Terror, which was just about killing Muslims, who are all, of course, like, fully cloth-clad, like, insane, like, Durka Muhammad Jihad, like, lunatic Islamist fundamentalists that are like Punisher-esque protagonist is bringing righteous justice to. Yeah, this is the brain damage of Frank Miller. You can read this graphic novel if you want. I have. It sucks. It's really bad. It's not... Frank Miller was one of the best comic writers in history, I wonder what happened to his brain. Literally, if you look up, like, Holy Terror Frank Miller on Google image search, every single frame is like everything you would think it is. So here's, I guess, just one action frame. And of course, both of the men he's shooting have both guns and bomb vests, because that's a thing that terrorists do. They train people to use guns, give them munitions and guns, and then also give them bomb vests, just in case. That's a thing that's been known to happen. I guess you don't want to complicate it with the fact that generally the people who wear bomb vests are like children or women, because the terrorists will like threaten their families or whatever. And it's like, here, blow up this airport, we won't kill your family, and then they fucking kill their family anyway. And I guess like Frank Miller didn't want to draw like our edgy protagonist gunning down 8-year-olds like with broken noses, like wearing bomb vests. Horrific fun fact: hate crimes against Muslims went up by over 1,000%. Yeah, no, yeah, like seriously, it was basically I'm not joking when I say like it was kind of like a soft pogrom. Um, like it was in a soft. I don't mean this in like the greatest possible sense. Like in the softest sense, it was kind of like a soft ethnic cleansing. Not in the sense that mass graves were being dug, but like a broader effort was made to fully just excise everything and everyone Muslim or Muslim looking from America and American culture. It never went all the way up to concentration camps and mass graves. So, that wasn't present, but like there was a real fucking effort to just not have them here anymore. You know? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Was there much reason to do hate crimes prior? Well, I don't think there's ever a reason to do hate crimes. But if you're asking whether or not there was like a cultural pretext for anti-Muslim violence beforehand, the best example that I can probably think of was like the gas crisis in the 70s, maybe pigeon. The gas crisis, the gas shortage, and probably the embassy standoff. When the the Iranian hostage situation. That was probably the worst of it, right? In terms of like reasons Americans would want to lynch Muslims, that was probably like the big thing that happened recently. At that time, my mom is Muslim, and I remember my mom didn't want to go outside after the terrorist attack in France in 9/11. Yeah. By the terrorist attack in France, do you mean the Hebdo thing? When that comic office got shot up? No, I think they meant the club. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, it's been known to happen. Islamic extremism is a real thing. It's just it mostly affects Muslims, you know? Like, where's the Taliban? Afghanistan. Where's ISIS? Currently, like, nowhere, actually. They are pretty dead. But where was ISIS? Iraq, Syria. Like, the, the victims of Islamic extremism are overwhelmingly, like, Muslims. Um, yeah. Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda isn't really operating anymore, is it? I think there are some cells of Al-Qaeda that are doing some work, but I don't think Al-Qaeda has anywhere near the level of like power and prominence that they did before. It has branches in Salamia, Syria, stuff like that. Yeah, I think they've kind of branched out. I don't know how relevant they are. ISIS was kind of like a spark in the pan. Um, I just fucking read Salami out loud. I know. Um, I know. I'm very tired. You know how it is. Tahrir al-Sham is Al Qaeda in Syria. Yeah, wacky stuff. Wacky, 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 wacky stuff. ISIS was like the attempt to create a jihadist state, which was wild. You really can like 99% of Islamic extremism can be explained by like their own psychotic reactions to American imperialism. We've been talking about the brain damage of America for a bit, but keep in mind, like, you know who has a much better excuse for their brain damage? Like any fucking Muslim living in like Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, what like their pretext for brain damage is way more developed, and a lot of that brain damage does manifest in the form you know, wanting to put on a bomb vest and, you know, disintegrate a small crowd of civilians in a market, you know, or gun down infidels or whatever. The purpose of ISIS was to create a new caliphate, an Islamic state. And the goal of that Islamic state was in part to create like a real geopolitical opponent to American imperialism. Of course, it was a doomed venture. That was never going to happen. It was simply not possible. Even if it was possible, it would be a bad thing because ISIS is really bad. They're very not good. They're not great. Look up Ashcroft versus Iqbal. It's basically a case that determined whether or not the state had to bother with habeas corpus for Muslim-looking people. Oh, fuck, dude. I remember hearing about this. Ashcroft versus Iqbal was a U.S. Supreme Court case which held plaintiffs must present a plausible course of action. Alongside Bell Atlantic Corps versus Twombly, Iqbal raised the threshold with plaintiffs needed to meet. Further, the court held that government officials not liable for the actions of their subordinates without evidence that they ordered the allegedly discriminatory activity. At issue is whether current and former federal officials, including FBI Director Mueller, hey, that guy would end up being important to my channel in the future, and former U.S. Attorney General John Ashcroft, were entitled to qualified immunity against an allegation they knew of or condoned racial and religious discrimination against Muslim men detained after the 9/11 attacks. The decision also transformed civil litigation in the federal courts by making it much easier for courts to dismiss individual suits. On the morning of September 11th, Javed Iqbal, a Pakistani-American cable television installer, was in Lower Manhattan when the World Trade Center was attacked. He'd been on his way to renew his work authorization card as he was an immigrant and did not yet have permanent citizenship. In an initially unrelated action 8 weeks later, he was arrested on charges of conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and fraud in relation to identification documents, and he was placed in pretrial detention at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. When officers searched his apartment, they found the card for an apartment to be downtown on 9/11, as well as media reporting on the attacks, and suspected him of involvement. Iqbal alleged that FBI officials carried out a discriminatory policy by designating him as a person of high interest in the investigation of the September 11 attacks because of his race, religion, and national origin. He asserted it was because of his identity as a Pakistani Muslim that he was placed in the detention center's Administrative Maximum Special Housing Unit for over 6 months while he was awaiting the fraud trial. So here's the issue, okay? Just putting it up front, all right? I think that degrees of discrimination are going to be present in investigation. Treatment, they cannot be. So, for example, if there's a 9/11 happens, you know, and there are people who are arrested of other crimes against the United States nearby who have only been here recently and they're Muslim, looking into their association with the 9/11 terrorist attacks, I think is a reasonable thing to do, for the simple reason that, you know, the 9/11 terrorist attacks were definitely kind of a little bit smidgen of a Muslim-y thing. A little bit. However, the problem is when we go beyond investigation, which is a thing that you do without affecting the life of the person being investigated. If you want to investigate on that pretext, that's one thing, you know. You can, you know, look into whatever facts you want behind the scenes. However, being placed in the Administrative Maximum Special Housing Unit, not even because of charges being brought against you, but because of your fucking religion and ethnicity, just because you're adjacent to an investigation taking place, that is when it goes beyond investigation and goes into just flat out, like, full-on discrimination. Huge difference. While he was awaiting the fraud trial. See, he was on trial for fraud. It wasn't like he'd been charged with anything associated with terrorism. If he'd been charged with it, if there was a pretext for that charge, then maybe an argument. No, well, frankly, an argument couldn't be made anyway because we don't live in fucking 24 universe. And just because you're associated with a terrorist attack doesn't mean that you're going to get busted out of a fucking prison cell because that's not the way the world works. So, no, even then, you wouldn't need to be in your fucking administrative maximum special housing unit, which sounds like something that should be reserved for, like, captured X-Men or something. Jesus Christ. Iqbal asserted he was tortured by prison staff on the orders of and under policies written by John Ashcroft. Specifically, he claimed that on that day he was transferred to the special unit prison guards without provocation, picked him up and threw him against the wall, kicked him in the stomach, punched him in the face, dragged him across the room. He testified that he was being attacked a second time and sought medical attention but was denied care for 2 weeks. Further, Iqbal asserted that prison staff in the special unit subjected him to unjustified strip and body cavity searches, verbally berated him by calling him a terrorist and Muslim killer, refused to give him adequate food, subjected him to extreme heat and cold. Further, he stated that prison staff interfered with his attempts at prayer, to engage in religious study, and his access to counsel. And the conclusion. In a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court reversed the Second Circuit's decision that the plaintiff had pleaded sufficient facts. The Supreme Court held Iqbal's complaint failed to plead sufficient facts to state a claim of purposeful and unlawful discrimination. The Supreme Court upheld that this guy did not have a legal claim. The Second Circuit's decision was to defend this guy, and the Supreme Court stepped in after the appeal. If you want to know more about this case, there's a 5-4 podcast episode on it. Right there. Strongly recommend you give it a listen. It's worse than we're going over here. Don't skip the worst part of the case. Look at the date of the case. Yeah, this took place in 2009. So, 8 years after 9/11, the Supreme Court stepped in to helpfully add that actually it's not like this was a fucking rush trial or whatever. You know, this guy was yeah. Iqbal was released in January 2003 because he used another guy's social security card. While in prison, his wife divorced him, thus invalidating his green card. Iqbal was deported to Pakistan. Upon his return to Pakistan, he was branded an American agent. His son was persecuted and forcibly disappeared as a result. After being released, Iqbal brought claims under implied cause of action established by Bivens versus 6 unnamed agents for violation of... Is there any reason to keep the SCOTUS in any form? I mean, we just have to stop treating it like it's like an it's like an apolitical institution or whatever. Like a lot of the people on the Supreme Court are partisan monsters who are every bit as influenced by bias as people like Trump. They just know how to dress it up in legalese. They're wizards, okay? That like they're court wizards. Their job is essentially to translate the doctrine of their party into legalese to give it like legal pretext and justification. That's it. They're high priests. They interpret the word of the founding fathers. Yeah, the basic logic of this case essentially is that the guy's claim was too vague to like for him to like receive damages, you know? Like it's too like, you know, basically like saying, "Hey, I've been treated to discrimination and torture by basically every element of this institution." That's too vague. You can't. Yeah, that's too vague, sorry. You need a specific person, and also you better hope they don't have qualified immunity, and also you better hope that they aren't being exonerated of their behavior because they were given orders by a superior officer, and also you better hope that there weren't other like legal justifications. Yeah, that's because the founders were retarded, I dementia. Soder went on in their dissent to say the main fallacy in the majority's position was grown that they are looking at Iqbal's allegations in isolation and not as a unit. Furthermore, Iqbal was alleging not only that Ashcroft and Mueller had allowed the discriminated policy, but it also created it. Yeah. The impact. The decision has been described as possibly the most consequential ruling in Chief Justice John Roberts' 10-year tenure. 10-year tenure. That's tough to say. Because it has transformed civil litigation in the federal courts to the detriment of individuals. It is one of the 5 most cited Supreme Court decisions of all times. It has been cited as of 2017 over 85,000 times. Every one of those citations is a lower court applying this same standard to their own case. Every single time it's been cited. Well, not every single time, but many of the times it's been cited. It's a lower court going, oh, hey, see the Supreme Court saying fuck you, eat shit? Well, haha, fuck you, eat shit. It has made it harder for civil rights cases to proceed through the federal judiciary. Writing in 2017, Stanford law professor argued the case mostly ignored the real center of the case, Iqbal himself. Sinar noted the court generalized Iqbal as a suspect and a foreigner and failed to take in the human dimension of the case. She went on to write, oh, that's a common trend with the Supreme Court as well, is that fucking contempt of individuality. The only time the Supreme Court gives a shit about individual rights is when they're talking about cops. Outside of that, like, they are happy to like disregard legal claims or delegitimize them by grouping plaintiffs into whatever categories they think would grant them a lower level of legal protection. She went on to write that court's decision in Iqbal is in many ways discriminatory, really, and the court ignored a true and serious problem around post 9/11 detentions. Many arrests were made on the basis of ethnicity, nationality, religion, and suspects were jailed under inhumane conditions despite their innocence. Sinar concluded the seemingly obtuse tweak to the rules of civil procedure from the case has had a disparate impact on plaintiffs since. Ontologically evil. Yeah, I wonder how Javed Iqbal is doing right now, because like arrested, tortured, discriminated against, sent back to Pakistan, wife divorces him, his son is forcibly disappeared by the government as he's branded an American agent. If he hasn't killed himself by now, then I think that's a testament, like, to a remarkable amount of perseverance. Okay, so it turns out there's another Javed Iqbal, a Pakistani serial killer and pederast who confessed to the sexual abuse and murder of 100 young boys. This is a different guy. The first name is spelled different. That's why it says serial killer. Disambiguation. Just yeah. Yeah, died 1 month after 9/11. Wait, hold on. Somebody could make a conspiracy theory out of this. Maybe this was the Javed Iqbal who collaborated in the terror plot, and when he was arrested, he died, and they got another Javed Iqbal on trumped up fraud charges, and the whole thing proceeded with him. Yeah, we can do some QAnon shit here. Read how they killed him, holy moly. Well, it says he died by suicide before any sentence could be carried out. Oh, you mean how he killed the little boys? Strangled, cut into 100 pieces in front of the parents of the victims, dissolved into acid. Yeah, he seemed like a bad guy. Wow. What a namesake. Uh, Here we go. No. Oh, that's the case though. I want to see. He doesn't have his own Wikipedia page. He only has. It's only the. But I want to know what happened to him. Google? I did Google. I'm not seeing anything. Why is America so fucking rotten? Well, I think we learned a lot of interesting stuff today about how 9/11 was bad. There are two links. I saw the other one. That's not him. Um, we certainly did learn that today. I think he's probably dead. He's probably dead. Yeah, he's probably dead. Yeah, and we never recovered. I did want to go over some good news, though, before I ended my special bonus stream. Just a second. You guys probably know what it is. Sorry, I think I have the sniffles. Oh my gosh, there's good news. What? Yeah, actually, if you can believe it. The Ukrainian forces have managed a rapid acquisition of territory that has astounded essentially everyone. Let me go back just like a week here. Here, we go back to the beginning of September, right here. Okay, so you'll notice this image right here. Lots of icky red, right? Disgusting, not good. I hate it. But now if I click on this, whoa, where'd that? Where'd it go? Oh my God, is that thousands of square miles of territory being recaptured in like 1 week? That's crazy. Seriously, it's a massive acquisition of territory in essentially no time at all. Um, you know, the Russia's so shit at this. Yeah. And the fighting is still ongoing too. Um, Dylan Burns has been doing an excellent job covering this as it moves forward. But you can see from the little blue flags right here, Ukrainian military control Yorchikova village in Vovchansk district of Kharkiv region. You know what that means, lads? You know what that means? That means that, like always, live UA map is not live updated. This map is showing us territory controlled by Russians that is not actually controlled by Russians. The reason for that, of course, is because the map doesn't want to give away troop movements by accidentally providing information the Russians don't have. It is just open main page. Open main page. What? Never mind. Okay, so yeah, the entire upper strip surrounding Belarus. That must have been in the past like 24 hours because that was not there when I looked yesterday. Okay, so never mind. Live UA Map is actually collaborating with the Russians to show them how bad they're losing. Yeah. Look, 9 minutes ago, Ukrainian military in Vovchansk. Look at them. This is this is I think I could be wrong on this, but I think this is one of the most rapid acquisitions of territory since the reconquest of France after D-Day. Am I wrong on that? At least on the European front, like in terms of just like you know, we're just going to literally thousands of square miles of territory in a couple days. Yeah, it's like the Taliban taking over Afghanistan after we left. Did you see videos of civilians greeting Ukrainians who liberated them? Oh, I saw a video of a grandma. Oh, let me see if I can find it. I saw a video of a babushka, of a Ukrainian grandma. Um, Let me see if I can find it. Yes. Excellent. Heartwarming footage from Ukraine. An elderly woman freezes when she sees a soldier by her house as she thinks it's from the Russian army. The Ukrainian soldier says, "It's our guys coming," and she gives him a long hug. This is how liberation after 6 months looks like. Of course, we have the cheesy music added on because Eastern Europeans don't understand subtlety.
Да, свои.
Imagine being all of these Ukrainians in the villages that are being recaptured, and you've been hearing, you know, like Russian occupation might be forever, Ukraine might lose, Ukraine might not be able to reconquer this territory, and it's been 6 months. Here, jubilant Ukrainian civilians meet liberating Ukrainian soldiers with flowers and hugs.
Не достану, спасибо. Вы закройте вас плачу. Можно я поставлю?
Дякую!
Дякую, ми вам сніданок гарячий привезли.
Дякую!
The Russians responded by attacking power plants over the country. We have to acknowledge that in line with the fact that all Russians are genetically, ontologically evil and biologically driven to be orcish in nature, their retreat from territories is going to reveal many atrocities, probably including mass civilian executions in a kind of like spite maneuver. That's unfortunately, it's quite unavoidable. The Russians are what Russians are, you know.
Оце таке утро.
Mariupol is probably going to be the worst. Mariupol is just, I think right now, currently, Mariupol is just like a large, like, basin filled with blood, and rubble. Sorry, the pauses are in the video itself. Just, I assume, an uploading error, since these are being uploaded via, like, Ukrainian Wi-Fi from a phone. That's so cute, though. Look at the chick with the fucking Ukraine flag cape. Look, wee! You know, the fighting's been rough, but I gotta say, there are probably very few experiences that compare to how cool and nice it must feel to be a soldier liberating a conquered territory, you know? Like that's got to be like way up there, like lifelong brain experience, you know what I mean? Hopefully the people who are doing the liberating in these villages are going to survive to the end of the war, you know? Still a lot of people are probably going to die. Yeah. It caused the baby boom. Yeah, true. When people in Western Europe saw like American British forces moving through, they were so enamored by their heroism that they all got pregnant simultaneously. This is kind of true. This is at least partially true. A lot of cute videos like that. But yeah, the conquest of territory here has exceeded everyone's expectations. I know I keep saying this about the Ukraine conflict, but it keeps being true. It doesn't stop being true. Like, nobody expected this to happen. Especially reconquering territory all the way up to the line. All the way up to Russia. Like, this is back to the border. I don't think people, you know, like, shit. Are they gonna keep marching? Are they gonna fucking take Belgorod? Partial blackout in Belgorod region? Well, they're definitely shelling Belgorod. One of the ways of discouraging the Russians from continuing this conflict would probably be to set up artillery along the border and reduce their border cities to a soup-like homogenate, you know. Just sort of evaporate Belgorod's central infrastructure. You know, it sounds cruel, but it is a total war. They did They did intend to, you know, fully conquer Ukraine. We'll be in Moscow by winter, lads. Well, Moscow's not that far, you know? Not really. No, don't go to Moscow. Please do not invade the nuclear nation. Shelling from the other side of the border is one thing. Invading Russia is another thing. Do not go. Do not come. Do not come. Do not come. Look at non-credible defense. Ah, you mean people who are currently ginning up for a war with Russia? Yes, I'm sure. These guys are so pro-NATO that they are quite often the fascists that I am accused of being. This one goes hard, though. Like, they're wacky guys. Wacky, 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 wacky guys. You know, very wacky people. Super wacky. You know, whatever else, as you know, as far as we can tell, and from what Zelensky has said, they have every intention of reconquering not only the Donbass but Crimea, which is a move. You know, I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. You know, that's gonna be a spicy one for sure. We can talk about like the logistics here. At no point during the conflict has Ukraine really managed to break through the original like separatist line established here, nor has Russia really been able to expand past it. The reason for that is because there are about like 100,000 troops right here. Right? Like there are a lot of people right here, Russian and Ukrainian. This is where the front line of the conflict was to begin with. All of the Russian advances have been breaking through around that wall. They were able to move around the north and around the south and through Crimea. They were able to push through Russia and through Belarus and try to make an attempt at Kiev, and then that didn't work through, you know. But this line has held pretty consistent right here throughout the war. And it seems like what's going to happen is now that the Ruskies are getting pushed back along the north, the Ukrainians are going to take advantage of a what would you call it? A strategically advantageous position. See, here's a neato thing. Let's say you've got a bunch of Ukrainian troops right here. You know, I say let's see, but there are a bunch of Ukrainian troops right here, you know? If they want to move and say, for example, put pressure on this line right here, they can do so simply by moving south-southwest, like this. But if the Russians want to go down there, they have to go around. See? This is the counter to the pincer move. You know, everyone talks about the pincer move, you know, like fall back, let them move in, then crush them from both sides. But this is the other side of it, which is that if you are surrounded on all sides, that means your reinforcing distances are much lower. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand? Please, guys, this isn't Hearts of Iron 4. This is very basic stuff. This is just very, very, very basic stuff. It's been this way for as long as humans have done war. It's been this way since the Romans. So the Ukrainians can because of their more compacted line here, have the ability to put selective pressure on different parts of the front line much faster than the Russians could. The Russians have the ability to reinforce from all of these different angles, but just because they have the ability to do this doesn't mean they actually can. You see? The Russians can move in, theoretically, from every bit of their border, but, like, will they? Given the fact that they're stalling on armor, they're stalling on troops, they're stalling on food, they're stalling on fuel, like, can they just mount an offensive across an entire 500-mile-long border at the same time? Probably not. It seems likely to me that Russia is going to fold like cardboard in these areas and possibly also here after they are after they're finished making their way through Mykolaiv, and the real line of conflict is going to be back where it started, which is the Donbass region and Crimea. Crimea might be really difficult to take. I know the Donbass will. Really, the real conflict is going to be defined when the Ukrainian forces collapse the Russian forces down around these lines. You know, Crimea has been reinforced as a officially Russian-held position for 8 years. There are military bases held by Russia in Crimea. There are fortifications in Crimea controlled by Russia. Taking Crimea is going to be very different from taking the other parts of Ukraine, which were only recently reconquered. The same is the case to a lesser extent with the Donbass region the separatists controlled. So while the Russians have been fighting a defensive war in all this red area, in Crimea and the Donbass, they're going to be fighting more of an offensive war. Not really, it's still Ukraine, of course, but more so than they have been up to this point. Will Russia not treat taking back Crimea the same as invading the Russian border, as far as they're concerned, like with Russian territory and sovereignty? That's true. I mean, a lot of this really does fly in the face of their pretexts and their justifications. But Russia also threatens nuclear war nonstop. I think even if they pretend they're the same, Russia will respond differently to an invasion of their motherland compared to a reconquering of Crimea. I think they would treat it differently. The main reason, I think, is because of the way the Russian people would perceive it. Even if the Russian people consider Crimea to be a part of Russia, I know they consider it to be less a part of Russia than, say, for example, like Belgorod, you know? Like, if you were to ask the Russian people, like, what would you be more mad if Ukrainians took Belgorod or Crimea? Like, I know which one they would choose. So I think it's really about like placating the imperial bloodthirst here. You know, what are you really mad about versus what are you going to say you're mad about? You know, what are you willing to put up over? You get what I mean. Full mobilization orders would be issued the second troops cross the border. Well, full mobilization order. Well, they could do that. At this point, in terms of like it, so if we ignore everything like optics, civilian casualties, and we assume that Ukraine continues to get the support that it's been getting from the West, I genuinely think that Ukraine could just win a full war against Russia. If nukes were off the table, I think that greater Ukraine would be a thing they could like basically achieve. Though obviously if you wanted to conquer Russia, there's only like the only parts of Russia you'd really care about would be getting this part right here, because like a lot of Russia is not like viable. So obviously like the logistics of conquering and holding this much territory are basically impossible. More like in a direct straight up fight between their militaries, axe nuclear weaponry, I think Ukraine would actually win. I've actually moved on that point. Right here. What kind of brain damage is Russia going to get in the long term? I mean, that really depends on whether or not like they oust Putin. Whether or not they recognize that this war was a mistake and that it was Putin's fault, you know? If they can't recognize this, then it's going to be their 9/11. If they can recognize that, then maybe this can be like their Nuremberg trial, you know, where Germany has a second to like sit down and have a little cry while we put a bunch of their leaders to the gallows, and then they can maybe try to do better or something. I don't know. Do you think this war will start a trend of other countries like Kazakhstan seeking freedom from Russian influence? I'm curious about that actually, because Kazakhstan did very, very openly and very directly like refuse to support Russia early on, right after Russia intervened in like an internal conflict in Kazakhstan. I wonder if they're like seeing the writing on the wall and they're hoping to be. My guess would be that Kazakhstan probably wants to be more allied with China. So Kazakhstan independence has already been like a thing, but also like who would you want to hitch your horse to, right? Like Russia's dying. China's, I wouldn't say it's booming, but it's doing like infinitely better, you know? It's and Kazakhstan's a huge country too. I mean, look at it on the map. Kazakhstan is colossal. It's the largest post-Soviet breakup. It's a massive territory. You know, so they're not, you know, it's not like the Chechens can just get like, you know, bonked. Um, you know, like Kazakhstan could just get like put down in a couple of weeks or whatever. You know, I think that the Kazakhs have a little bit of leverage they might use. Kazakhstan, yeah, Kazakhstan has a lot of uranium, right? They have a lot of natural resources. Kazakhstan natural resources. Kazakhstan is very rich in mineral resources: oil, coal, various oil, ore and non-metallic deposits, chrome, iron deposits, polymetallic deposits, copper, tungsten, molybdenum, and uranium ore. Yeah, some wacky stuff there. Maybe it's time for revenge. Kazakhstan joins with the ethnic Turkic people and do a Genghis Khan in Russia. Greater Kazakhstan. I honestly think Siberian independence is necessary for Russia to change its ways. I think I agree with that. Because one of the big problems with Russia, like right now, is that they're still locked in the imperial mindset. And one of the reasons they're able to get away with that is because they're literally the biggest country on earth by far. Like, not even close, you know? Like, Russia has so many ethnic groups roped into it. And I wonder if if it would humble them somewhat for Siberia. I don't think Siberian independence is realistic right now. More like broader federalization, because you know it's already the Russian Federation, but you know, like you know, like even within that, like if there was more federalization or got broken apart more, or if there was like actual independence um dictated. Yeah, turn it into the Russian Confederation. Wouldn't Siberia be fucked without Moscow, though? I don't actually know what the tax situation is in Siberia. When I try to picture Siberia in my head, I think of one guy wearing like like an Arctic seal hoodie, overlooking 8 quadrillion square miles of tundra. I don't really know what's going on over there. I actually have no clue. Wait, can I look that up real quick? Siberia has 33 million people in it. That is fucking insane. Just a second. Okay, if you Google image search Siberia, this is the first guy that you see, non-map photo. So at the very least, Google image search seems to be on the same wavelength as me. Um, Also, holy shit, he looks cool. Or she? I have no way of knowing. They're kind of bundled. Can we Google Street View in Siberia? Do you think they have Google Street View there? Oh, fuck. Siberia has lots of industrial cities. Hold on. It's time. So wait, is Siberia this province or is it this province? Is it the one in the middle or the one in the east? It's the eastern one? It's both? Oh, what distinguishes the two? Like what there's a line here. So is there like a political it's multiple provinces are considered Siberia. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Um I think the eastern one is an autonomous republic. Siberia is everything east of the Ural Mountains. Gotcha. Okay. East of the Ural Mountains. Gotcha. Okay, hold on. So the Ural Mountains are these, right? These are the Ural Mountains, right? Yeah. That is a very distinct mountain range. Wow. Look at that. That's like... And look, they even drew the provincial border right through it. Yeah, oh. God, they look beautiful. Siberia is supposed to be one of the prettiest places in the world, right? Okay, so let's... Okay. State Nature Reserve. Let's find a bigger city. Let's see if we can find... Are there any large dots here, or are they all the same size? We can just find any city, I guess. How about you, Yukta? Fucking Google it. No, it's fun to look. Omsk. We're gonna look for Omsk. Omsk, 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 Omsk. Omsk, 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 Omsk. There are a lot of cities here, huh? Big country. Omsk, 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 Omsk. I want to be like zoomed out to here because then only the big cities will show, right? But I want to be further north though, because otherwise it's not really Siberia in my brain. I'm choosing this one right here. I don't give a shit. Ustye. What the fuck is this place? Are these salt flats? What is this? Is this the moon? Why does this look like a fucking World of Warcraft zone? Unfortunately, the resolution in this area is not going to be that great. Nope. 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 Oh! I saw that. Where'd it go? I saw it. I saw it. I see you. Let me go down. What the fuck? Hmm. Let me go in. Click on the dude. I clicked on the dude. I'm clicking on it. Some bubbles don't work. Yeah, clearly. Here, wait. Let's find another bubble. Wow, that is... Oh my god. That is the one bubble up there. They genuinely do not take these that far north, I guess. Oh wait, here's a really far north one. Let me go. I want to see. No, I want to see. I want to see. I want to see. This is so far north. Let me see. Look at this. It's like the most north. It's like almost the most north. Unironically. Like, it's close to the North Pole. Isn't the North Pole like here? This is the North Pole. No? Well, I believe it is. That's not the North Pole? I believe it is. It's actually 3 a.m. here. Probably. Listen, the point is that it's very far north, okay? Can I just look at Siberia? Oh, God. Oh, God, Western hegemony. Really rearing its ugly head right now, huh? Christ, look at the Australian outback. There are parts of this place so deserted that not even fucking Google will go there. Ah, yes, the Imperial Core. Okay, one of these dots has to work. Yeah. Holy shit, that's... Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Holy shit. This is insane. It's so pretty. Man, I want to be here. Would you stand there? The issue with being here isn't the standing here. The issue is that this photo was probably taken maybe hundreds of miles from civilization. You would have to go on quite a journey to get here. Who took this photo? It says right here in the top left. But the name is in Cyrillic, so I can't read it. It's this whole area is like the Puturana State Natural Reserve. Oh, that's the one we just clicked on. Okay, so a lot of people take photos of this juncture, which makes sense because it's gorgeous. Dude! What the fuck? Okay, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, like, you know how we've played the Stalker games on stream? Oh no, we played the Metro games. Like, just because the world is gloomy and you're in like Eastern Europe or Russia or whatever, like the world's still beautiful, you know? Man, it's this beautiful on an overcast day, too. It's unironically the Russian Grand Canyon. Yeah, except it's better than the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is dry. This has a waterfall. This is better. This is an improved Grand Canyon. I am getting major pathologic vibes right now. We're in the part of the world that pathologic kind of sort of maybe a little bit would have taken place in, right? If it weren't sort of suspended in time and space. It's way prettier. That's true. No sand plague here. Oh, man. This was taken with a drone. Look at all these trees. They're so beautiful. Doesn't the trees from a distance look like moss, don't they? Like, doesn't this have kind of like the texture and color profile of moss? I really like moss. I think moss is beautiful. I'm surprised how underdeveloped it is. Oh, buddy, it's the Russian steppe. All of this during the winter hits like negative 60 degrees or some shit. It might be beautiful, and you can visit in the summer if you want, but this is, these are not easy places to live, I don't think. Okay, so this is all the way near Alaska. Like, this is way east. And fittingly, it looks like Alaska. I mean, it's got like similar vibes. Oh, shit! Evidence of civilization. And wow, fuck me if that little depot station right there doesn't look like one of the copy and paste ones you see in the Metro games. Holy shit. It's even got the same rust patterns. Like, it literally looks like it's from the Unity stock store. That's crazy. Look at it. Zoom in. Ah, yes, the algorithm zoom in. But it does. It even the little stair, then the door, and it's all rusted. Yeah. Have some respect. That shed holds all of Russia's remaining ammunition. Oh, wait, there's actually a town down there. Town might be a bit generous. This looks like a port. Got a factory. Meanwhile, over in Alaska. Oh, God. Oh, no, we're more developed. Alaska's a lot more developed than this part of Russia is. I know that much. Oh, there we go. Fuck, dude. Alaska is supposed to be incredibly gorgeous, right? Like, Alaska has the most unspoiled wilderness in all of America. Gets chilly there, though. What is that? It looks like it's half eroded. What is this? Fire pit? Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, we're right next to a bench. Oh, well, now we're inside. The Serpentine Hot Springs. Party time excellent. Rockin' Hot Springs. Time to party all day and night long. I guess there's not that much to do in Alaska outside of unprotected sex and an enormous number of drugs that you get with your six-figure salary working on an oil rig. It's party time. But this is the northernmost. Holy shit! Love these drone photos. Fuck. Wait, how is... Oh, okay, I thought this was a boat. And I was gonna say, like, a boat to where? It's a lake. Well, a pond, I guess. Fuck, that's so pretty. What's that blue thing? That's the water. You mean this? That... What the fuck? Is that a sports ball field? That can't be. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Why is there a foot... Does American land just spontaneously generate football fields? Like what? What? From where? What? What is this? What? This looks like a dock or an industrial area. Why is it just... It looks pristine too. It just got auto-generate. Yeah, chunk error with the... The government invested in that perk tree. But back in the Roosevelt days, during the New Deal program, he was like, new territories automatically generate football fields. Ah, yeah, that would save us some money. Fantastic. Now we just have some out here, you know? Dude, fuck it, absolutely. Dock workers get bored. That's true. I guess I just can't imagine doing any kind of sports in an area this far north. I've never been this far north, but I have to believe that, like, it's gotta be not great to be outside for that long, right? I guess, like, you could do it just during the summer, but, like, you know? Oh, that's the one we looked at. Okay, I see we've got some cheeky. I love this. I love this, like, natural... Can you imagine just driving down this while playing music? Okay, fuck, dude. This is like some existential shit. Just have like a car with the top open, like a convertible or something with music playing, and just driving along the northern coast of Alaska. Look at this. Everything around you just perfectly flat because you're at the edge of the world. Oops, you ran out of gas. Oh, you're dead now. Oh, you're dead now. Yeah. This is I love looking at these parts of the world where, like, having a set of tools, a spare tire, and extra gas in your car isn't just like a thing that fussy parents do when they're trying to keep their kids safe, you know? It's like, oh yeah, if you don't do that, you're stupid. Yeah, like, oh, you don't have the extra tank of... You don't have the extra, like gasoline canister in your car. Are you a fucking idiot? If you ran out of gas somewhere along this strip, you're just going to freeze to death. Yeah, and like a satellite phone, yeah. Where's the mandatory football field? It should be somewhere south of here, but I don't... Oh, wait, so this is north. So it's somewhere this way. Man, fuck, now I just want to do that. Hey, it's COVID-safe travel. You cannot get COVID here. COVID is not here. This is the least populated place in the universe, okay? You're fine here. Everywhere else has more COVID than here. Plus, with climate change, it might get warmer in Alaska soon. Who knows? Look at Iceland. Sorry, we're meant to be looking right now at Russia, but... Ooh. Lloyd Peacock Jr. Oh, this is a grave. A big one. Is it? It's more of like an obelisk. Well, this guy must have been fucking important. Oh. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Fucking... That's it! That's the gasoline tank! They're driving open-topped cars, ATVs, with a gasoline tank! My survival tips right here, you know? But driving an ATV is better than driving a convertible. They've got it better on me, you know? Absolutely. Those dozens of circular lakes are caused by recent glaciation of the region. That's not good. The grave of the one guy who didn't bring any spare gas. This idiot. Oh, wait. There are a lot of pockets of water that are caused by glaciation. Oh. 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 What is that? These parts of Alaska used to be frozen over 24/7. But as it warms up, they stay melted longer and longer. Until eventually they're, you know, it goes from permafrost to frost to a lake, basically. Well, here's some kind of science. High center polygon formations and instrumentations. And it goes on for some time. Here we see people dressed the way you have to dress out here, aka like a post-apocalyptic survivor. Oh, guys, I have good news from chat that I'm just going to choose to believe. Vosh, it's not from anthropogenic climate change. It's just because the Ice Age ended. The lakes take millennia to disappear. That's right. We had a mini Ice Age like 600 or 700 years ago, right? So that would be part of the regular, normal heat wave stuff. That's good. No, he means the actual Ice Age. Oh, okay, well, that was way farther back. Okay, yeah, the actual Ice Age. But we did have a mini Ice Age a little while ago. Sheesh. Okay, I guess the key to good living in Alaska is choosing your location, because some of these photos are gorgeous, and some of these photos... If I walked outside and looked at this, like this photo represented my field of vision, I would want to kill myself. Like, I would kill myself. Like, this is incredibly gloomy. I guess it doesn't help that this is, I guess, being taken with, like, a Nokia phone camera. Oh, wait? Okay, now it's prettier. No, it's not. Think about the Aurora Borealis, though. Yeah, I guess that's true. So yeah, that's the northernmost tip of... Why is this sea... Is this just an elevation drop? Like, this sea is a couple hundred, this sea is a couple thousand feet deep? Yeah? Okay, gotcha. I know it doesn't look like that from space, because you can't really see water elevation from space, but... What's the farthest north we can go? Here's the tip of Greenland. Nope, can't click those. Well, that's fucking gorgeous. You know, this looks surprisingly lively and not frozen over for a place that is also the farthest north that you can go, basically. However, I assume that it's also negative 100 degrees right now, and this environment is just made to look like this. Oh, yep, taken in July 2016. Yep, sorry, middle of the summer. Yeah, I don't think you can go up there when it's not... Oh, frankly, I don't think it's wise to go... We're in the parts of the world now. We're going there when it's not summer is basically a death sentence. Fuck! God, we live on such a beautiful planet. This is one of the reasons why I'm anti-ethno-state. I'm not joking. I just think that since we basically only get the one planet to explore, we should have, like, infinite right to explore it to our heart's content, you know? The idea of places this cool being locked off to people, because, like, your skin color just looks a bit off. Such a fucking retarded impulse. Just a stupid fucking idea. Yeah, I just have, like, a vibe that, like, I don't know, like, maybe your great-grandpa and my great-grandpa... Like, fuck off. Jesus. All the stuff in the heart of Greenland won't let me click on it. They're all dead. It's so cold here, even the Oy, oy, oy. So cold here, even the photos froze. Yeah, this was taken in August. Yeesh. Whew. Yeah, they're on a glacier here, right? The center of Greenland is a glacier. Like if they could melt everything beneath their feet, they would eventually fall into the ocean, right? Yeah. So this is just ice. There's no ground here, which means there can't really be any vegetation, I guess. Horrifying. Horrifying. Imagine living on water. Bosh, that's not how it works. No, Greenland without ice. There are parts of Greenland that literally there isn't land, and it's in the center of Greenland. Yeah, look. See? The center of Greenland is a lake. It's just so cold there that there's permafrost over it. So where these guys are right now, there is literally no land beneath them. If they melted straight down, they would eventually just land in like the ocean. Well, I guess it would just keep being ice all the way down, like even beyond that, I guess, like until they hit ground, but Antarctica is also an archipelago. Yeah. Technically beneath the lake there's land. Well, yes, there's ground below sea level, but you know what I mean, to sea level. Yeah. Obviously there's ground beneath everything. Like there's an iron core to the planet. Taken in August. At least this place looks a bit more livable. Wait, I want to look a bit more at Alaska, because Alaska is a place that I could actually conceivably visit sometime in my life, and I have given it thought. I don't like the cold, and I'm not even that much of a nature guy, but I feel like there's got to be something kind of like experientially gratifying about seeing a site like this, about seeing the auto-generated American football field, you know? Yeah, I just want to stay away from this part of Alaska. Yeah, okay, there are two Alaskas, it seems. The mud Alaska and the water Alaska. And I want to go to the water Alaska. Ooh, yeah. So I guess this is one of those places where people just make $150,000 a year and get very high rates of depression. $5 a gallon of gas in Alaska too? I guess I just assumed they would have low gas prices. This is from 2011. Wait, 2011. Whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't realize gas anywhere was this expensive in 2011. Okay. You'd think they'd get cheap gas on account of the fact that Alaska is just an ice sheet over a pile of oil. Like, you're there. Oil isn't just extracted there. Like, it's refined there, isn't it? Like, it's right there. No, they have to ship it out for oh, so it's not refined there? Ah, fuck. Okay, well then it's fucking getting roundabout shipping. I know European prices are high, but Europeans deserve it. I keep clicking on this place because I like it so much. Okay, guys. How fucking cool would it be to just get to fly over the Alaskan coast in one of these baby helicopters? How cool would that fucking be, dude? Holy shit. It's so cute. Of course, you have to remember that helicopters are all death traps. Helicopters are machines with one wish, and that wish is to make contact with the ground. And your job as a pilot of a helicopter is to trick it into not doing that for as long as you can. Isn't that everything in the air? Nope, helicopters especially. Nope, nope, not all planes, helicopters especially. That's all aircraft, though? No, it's not. Helicopters are way more dangerous. Also, when a plane runs out of power, it coasts. That's why when an engine stalls on a plane, you can reactivate it. You have ailerons and like guidance on a plane that can glide down. You'll eventually need to get those you'll need to get those engines working again. Uh so does a helicopter. A helicopter can't glide. Just they simply fall. Helicopters can glide too, you know that, right? No. Yes, it can. Okay, guys, can we stop trying to outsmart me and can we acknowledge the fact that helicopters are more dangerous than planes and obviously helicopters have a lower margin for error? No, stop. Stop. Yes, we get it. You know more than me. I don't know everything about everything. But yes, helicopters are more dangerous. They literally have a higher death rate. They're far more dangerous. Also, you're way closer to the ground with a helicopter, meaning you have way less time to correct any errors. Also, planes are naturally designed to glide if they run out of power, meaning that even if you completely run out of power, if you're high enough up, you can have literal fucking minutes of calm, stable flight for you to address the issue. Whereas in a helicopter, if something goes wrong, you know, helicopters can fucking gyrate. They can tilt. If they tilt, man, and you don't have control over the rotors, okay, just who is he talking to? Whatever. What interesting colored vegetations. Or vegetation. Vegetation. Look at all this. Look, we've got like orange and green and look at this. Those are rocks. There's vegetation on the rocks. Like moss and lichen and stuff. Is it lichen or lichen? Lichen? Okay, I thought it, yeah, lichen. Yeah, that's so. Damn. Holy shit. Death Stranding. It does kind of look like it though, doesn't it? The Kigloike Mountains. See, like, this is cutesy. I'm sure this gets really depressing whenever there's, like, a snowstorm or whatever. February 2019. Okay, so this must be, like, noon. I know this must get depressing if there's a snowstorm or whatever, but the idea of, like, walking outside, having the sun hit you like this, and just going... There's got to be something refreshing to that, but maybe only if you do it for, like, one day. I don't know. This might be night. Yeah, who the fuck knows this far north? I guess I just want to be near the water in Alaska. That's what I want. Yeah, see, even though it's overcast here, this looks fucking foreboding, by the way. Oh, hello. Hey! I didn't know if we were on another island or something. What's up? Oh, you got it. Vosh, you've lived near the water your whole life. Humans are meant to live near water, okay? Water and rivers, all right? Clean your fingernails. I mean, he's literally on like a boat in Alaska. I think it's okay for him to be a little bit disheveled. Okay, see, this would terrify me. Can you imagine going out here on your own? Some properly Silent Hill shit right here. Holy fuck. Imagine going out here on like a rowing boat or something. You would get like you would get like Return of the Obra Dinn or something. You would get fucking the Soldiers of the Sea. Brothers be fishing? Yeah. Wait, where did I just click? Didn't I just click in the middle of the... Oh, St. Paul. Oh, this is... I guess this is just like a random beautiful island in the middle of infinite desolate nothingness of the Pacific. Great. Cool. Love that. Literally looks like heaven. Yeah, it kind of does. Why is it censored? That's usually... It's either people asking for faces to be blurred or auto-blurring them when they upload this stuff to Google Maps, or sometimes it's just like an error with the photo that's been taken, or it can be caused by a couple of things. Alaska banned trans kids from schools, though. Okay, let's see Alaska try to keep trans kids from going to school. Here. What the fuck are they going to do? They'll send in the polar bears, yeah. Oh. You know, I was just about to make a joke about this being some kind of DMZ because this photo was taken in the area between Russia and Alaska. But on the island of Diomede, which I don't actually know if it's a Russian or an American island. Oh, it says Alaska. Okay, so this is an Alaskan. Okay, but apparently the photo is classified, so whatever. You can kind of see a bit here in the preview image. Why don't we build a bridge between Russia and Alaska? 3 reasons that I can think of. First of all, nobody wants it. Second of all, it would be very expensive. And third of all, I think it would be impossible. This would be an unbelievably large bridge. Would it be the largest bridge in the world? No, but it would be a very big one. I also think that Alaska and Russia are on different tectonic plates. Don't they shear, right? Like, they shear laterally, don't they? Like they move in different directions a little bit, I think. It'd be the largest by a lot, yeah. Underground tunnel? Nah. For comparison's sake, you can see how big this distance is compared to like the English canal. You've got this, and then if we move way over while keeping the same size, look at the size of the English channel right here. See, it's like literally 1/8 the size. Maybe 1/5. I think another reason is that the ocean is really, 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 really deep here. Oh, wait, this is the Bering Strait. I didn't realize that's where this was. It's the line. How deep is it? I didn't know the Bering Strait was here. Average depth 160 feet. Okay, that's not like colossally deep, but trying to build the pillars to a bridge that would go down that far would be a engineering nightmare. It wouldn't be possible. Imagine being able to drive to Europe, though. It is true that if we simply connected this bridge or with a tunnel, we would connect basically the entire planet, right? Not Greenland or Antarctica, but that would connect the Americas. We still wouldn't have Australia, I guess. Yeah, but it would unite everyone else, right? The road is broken between Americas. Okay, yeah, but you can cross the Panama Canal. You can't drive there, but you can get across. Like, there are ways to. Holy shit, look at the dense grid of information. No, you can't. There's the Darien Gap. Okay, then jump over it. Shut up. Anyway. Oh my god. Dude! It's beautiful! Look at the mist rising up off the grass! I prefer places with trees. Well, for that, we're going to have to go back to Russia. If we want to see trees, we need to go back to Russia. Bad example. Also, wow. Jesus Christ. You lied. Oh. Wow, this is very Russian. The photo was pretty Russian, and now we're very Russian. Yes! What are we doing? Taking this apart for scrap? Maybe not. Maybe this is actually here for storage or repair. Well, it can't be storage, or they put a tarp over it. I have no idea. It's on display. Museum? This is a museum? Oh, fuck, dude. I don't want to be classist or anything, but holy shit. I'm so fucking glad I live in America. Oh my god. Yeah, they don't have tarps. They can't afford them. I'd die of stress if I lived here. Yeah, there's a reason why all of them are drunk all the time. This is Russia's most glorious museum. Show some respect. Yeah, for 5 million rubles, they'll take your child and they'll hike him up on their shoulders so they can climb into the in through one of the windows that have been broken open on the side of the plane, and they get to spend 15 minutes in there. Whatever they want to take with them is theirs. This is Russian Air Force One. It's Putin's plane. Oh, here we go. An actual developed area. Thank Christ. And a pretty dope statue, too. Actually, this is nice. This has to be a Soviet-era statue, right? I mean, it's made of copper that's, oxidized. So it's been out for long enough. Is the term oxidized? Anodized? Oxidized, right? It does look a bit like Bernie. If it's developed, it's Soviet, yeah. Okay, you can tell it's Soviet as well because money was put into the infrastructure. This kind of brick, in addition to being beautiful, is not cheap. There are way cheaper ways of paving a pavilion. Yep, and you have the, like, Soviet housing blocks. Well, you know... Oh, shit! This is some of the, Russian Orthodox Big Onion Dome architecture. Hell yeah! Authentic. All the churches look like that? Well, they sure as shit don't look like that here in the States. I'm learning so much today. Ah, dude, look. Look. It's when Russia had money. Not much, but some. Fuck. And the street lamp. Aw. Now I'm just getting sad looking at this because it's a reminder that as bad as the Soviet Union was, it did do a far better job providing for its citizens than the Russian Federation has. Don't get me wrong, you know, not exactly a USSR stan over here, but, you know, there are elements of the planned economy that did actually work out better than the ruthless austerity of the shock doctrine. I don't know, man. It looks kind of nice here. A Ruski. Taking out the garbage, maybe? Comrade. Oh yeah, for sure, Wolfman. And this looks like some kind of institute. Can you copy paste the name of this place into chat, please? Yeah. There's a Russian joke, Vosh. Oh, I have to do this in the accent. What did capitalism do in Russia in 10 years that communism couldn't do in 80 years? Make communism look good. There. You have to add it with a guffawing laugh there. Unironically true, though. If the West hadn't fucked up the post-Soviet states with the shock doctrine as much as we did, not only would these places be in better state than they are now, there wouldn't be as so many, like, pseudo-fascist Soviet revivalist movements across, like, the former Soviet territories, you know? We had a chance to show them there was a better way than state capitalism, and you know, and we kind of fucked it up. We kind of massively fucked it up. We showed them that there was a worse way, actually. It's literally the Treaty of Versailles over again. It kind of is, though. Yeah. Ooh, shiny. Ah, da, comrade. We move ice block. I don't think those are ice blocks. I have no idea what those contain. It just kind of looks like it. Wow, a lot of them. Does anyone else feel like this is genuinely enriching? Like, jokes aside, isn't it... Can't you learn a lot just from doing this? I feel like I can. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I gain a better appreciation for a lot of stuff just by doing this. I like doing this with you guys stuff. Yeah, I like doing this stuff with you guys. Sorry. I didn't mean for stream to go this long, but I really enjoy looking at this stuff with you. Wow. This looks like a totally different climate. I've tried GeoGuessr off stream and I can't do it. There's no point. I would just lose everyone. I don't have a GeoGuessr. Like I don't have the drive, the instinct, you know. I'm just happy to look at these. Russia does have a ton of desert. Yeah, it's just interesting that that's right across the road from this. Trees! Spooky! This is spooky. Censored for state secrets. It's very dusty. I'm guessing that, like, a car just drove through here and dusted up the place. Guys, I'm not looking up any specific places. I am literally just clicking on the maps. Wow. Whoa. Oh, cool. Who would have built this? This is at least a couple hundred years old, right? What communities lived in this area that long ago? I know plenty did. It's too far for the Mongols, right? The Mongols weren't this far north, were they? Just Siberian tribes, I guess? Fuck, it's pretty. Dude, can you imagine living the trad life back then? It's like 1726. Isaac Newton has split light into distinct colors via a prism, but you don't know about that. What you do know about is that you've got a hot ass wife, and you both have to wear big, like, fucking fur clothing to survive in the winters, but it's super warm and cozy, and you're just railing pussy bareback. And then you get out there and it looks like this. Truly return to tradition, okay? Everyone who disagrees with me when I say that man was meant to live this way is psychotic and delusional, okay? Obviously, humans were meant to live this way. Gathering berries with my 48 children. Vosh and Primarch. I want to achieve that vibe with technology. I like technology. I just want this to be the vibe. You know what I mean? I want like like solar punk futures where people live in like brick cottage homes overlooking beautiful vistas where they just got done dumping their balls into their hot ass wife and husband because they're in a polycule. That's essential. And then they go out and they have a reasonable number of children, not 48, because 0 of the children will die due to disease. And there are mountain lions, but they're friends because humans have learned to talk to animals through technology. So that you see a mountain lion, you go hi, and it goes mer, and then it walks away. That is how humans are meant to live. That's what we're working towards, lads. That's the socialism that I want to build. Sounds like the Garden of Eden. Well, we'd also have like video games, and people could be neats or whatever. Wouldn't this be a bit impractical for how many of us there are right now? For for truly rural living like this, like realistically, no, very few people would want to live like this when compared to the convenience and faculties and infrastructure of living in a more urban area. But like you can get a lot of really good nature in developed areas. For an example of that, like I point you back to where I went to university, Humboldt. Google Maps. We're opening 2 Google Maps tabs. But like I went to university in a place that had, don't get me wrong, it's a small town. Arcata in Humboldt County is a small town, but you can integrate technology and infrastructural development with nature really well if you're willing to do it, you know? Obviously the whole world can't look like that 24/7 because like you need like there will always be factories and stuff, you know. But you can make a pretty beautiful here. Let me find the campus here. No, all these photos were taken with a truck when it was gloomy. Here we go. Okay, yeah, here is the campus. This was the campus fulfillment center right here. Or the like the main place or whatever. Um and you have a modern college campus, you know, and right next to it is the beginning of the like capital R redwood forest where trees are hundreds of feet tall. This is like the small, like these are baby trees in Humboldt. Um But if you go further through, you know, stuff like this, and Humboldt is not like a super wealthy area or whatever, not even remotely. But like there's so much you can do with natural integration. Humanity was never meant to conquer nature because we are nature, you know? And I'm not a fucking hippie or whatever. I still think we're dope as shit. I love cool trains and factories, you know? I want to look at a train yard and see it stretch across the horizon. I like that shit, you know? But like humans like being around stuff like this. Look at this. Like that's just a good thing people like. Um God, I wish I could give you an impression of just how tall these trees are through Google Street View. Um, it's been so long since I've been on the campus, I actually forget the directions to go everywhere. I think we're near where I did my volunteering. You could just walk here from the campus. Look at these trees. Hold on. Nope, that's the one we just looked at. There we go. Now we're close to the trees. Look at that. Pretty area. Look, I'm just saying, you know, you can get along, you know? Maybe it can't all be like, you know, 1 human per square mile or whatever. But that's probably for the best because humans can't really live that well with 1 human per square mile. Was this? All right. Yeah, 2 humans per square miles. Ah, yes. More Soviet architecture. Wow. What are we celebrating here? Well, this clearly refers to World War II, yeah, but like we're so far east. Is it just like a celebration of the bravery of the Soviet troops who died? Hey, I guess it's just a memorial. The heart made me think that it might have been like a joint venture kind of thing, like this village or this town did something, but oh, what causes that? What causes that when the trees are all white below a certain line? It's just paint? They're paint? The trees are paint? Wait, isn't this a natural phenomena? Paint to keep the insects and stuff off? Oh. Oh, my entire life I thought this was some kind of... Oh, well, that's disappointing. Well, honestly, it doesn't look bad. At least in my mind, because I still think of it as some kind of natural process. Um, I like the... I like the little play set back here. It's cute. The big ship with, like, the anchors and stuff. Cooler than any, like, play set I've seen, you know, in, like, a park or whatever. Suka blie. All right, guys, we're back to Metro vibes. Wow, I would not want to be on this piece of architecture. Ooh, yeah. Well, it looks like it's actually just kind of sitting on the water. Maybe the ground level here. Maybe it's like a dirt bridge where they literally just filled it in with dirt. I bet trucks go here. Yeah, they just run trains across this thing. Ah, there's a bridge. Actually, a really nice one. Too bad Oh, no, it's more Soviet architecture. There are probably like 3 cars that drive across this per day, you know? There are probably still people with like, It's new? You think so? I guess it doesn't look that old. Oh, the old one's next to it? This would have been the old one, then they built the new one? It's not Soviet era? Ah. It's pretty shiny for something the Russian Federation would have built, though. I wonder how many cars come across here. This has to be like an industrial line. Like, there's no way there's no way there's enough, like, car traffic here to justify a bridge like this. You know? It's got to be like they're running trucks and stuff. Oh. Oh, oh. Oh? What? These are ice carvings? Ice carving museum. That's so cool. I don't know if this has any actual religious significance or if it's just being carved with that aesthetic in mind, but it's really pretty. Yeah, this makes me think it might be religious. These aren't really laid out in a good way for display, you know? This makes me think it's a shrine. Especially the way all the twigs next to it are kind of lined. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything here feels like it's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's Slavic paganism. Dude, cool. Whatever. Fuck yeah. Can't really build any houses out of wood when this is what your forests look like, I guess. Slavic paganism tends to be very Nazi. Be that as it may, I really do not think that ice cave was Nazi shit. I was not getting that vibe. It's Tengri, not Slavic, I think. It is pretty far east. When I think of Slavic paganism, I'm thinking like here, not so much like here, I guess. But, you know, I clearly don't know that much about this stuff. Wow. Look at all the natural color. Look at all the red and green and orange and yellow. Damn. Oh, we're on an island now. Okay. March 2021. Well, good luck, my dudes. Show the border with North Korea. I don't think the border with North Korea is going to have much in the way of Google Maps stuff. Okay, when I say that I like the industrial aesthetic, excuse me, this is what I mean. Stuff like this looks really nice against a natural background, you know, regardless of what the actual purpose it's serving, like regardless of what it's actually doing, it's just cool, you know? It's like you've got all this, wow, man. Fuck, I got to get out more. I'm in Seattle. I could go to Rainier Park. Though it is like a 50-mile drive. No matter where you are on Earth, you're not far from a beautiful place. Always keep that in mind. No matter what shitty podunk area you may live in, even if you live in the center of LA, which is like anti-life, you're not far from someplace beautiful. Even Florida? Even Florida. Florida doesn't have mountains, which is a shame, but you have plenty of beautiful, you know, natural stuff over there. But where's the Russian steppe village? Shall we, because I do have to end stream. This has gone on way too long. Shall we attempt to find... Oh, we've been here. Shall we attempt to find the pathologic village before I leave? Not here. Okay, so we're looking for. Oh, wow. I was about to say like a Soviet era town that's been abandoned in the middle of the steppe. This does not look abandoned at all. Holy shit. That's so pretty. Okay. Is anyone going to contest me when I say that this is Soviet architecture? Hmm? Oh, Gally, I didn't even see. I'm not looking at chat. No, we're not looking at no animated music videos today. They're even using like the same brickwork. Not the same bricks, but like same general design aesthetic. Is that the Kremlin? Yes, this is the Kremlin. This is where, God willing, inshallah, we wait for our Ukrainian Bayraktars to deliver the final strike. If you want to go to the steppe, go closer to Kazakhstan's border. Yeah, good idea. We need to move a little away here. Plus, there's a lot more Google image stuff over here. I can't, so this is the Kazakh border, but I want to stay in Russia. No, not quite. We'll find it. We'll find it. Oh, that's the one I just clicked on. How did I click on the same one twice? Censored. Oh. Oh, chickens! Yes. Oh. Sorry, Google Images just kind of lagged out on me there a bit, I guess. Dope. Fuck yeah, dude. We need to combine the infinite wealth and power of America with the anachronistic, eclectic architectural sensibilities of the Soviets, okay? I want a country with the wealth and power of America to go like, yeah, we're just going to build like 1 square kilometer brick pavilion right here in a village that is occupied by 7 people. And we're also going to we're going to build these beautiful statues in exactly the direct center of the middle of nowhere. And we're going to do it without bankrupting our country because we have, again, effectively infinite wealth. That's what I want. Does anyone else want the wealth and power of America mixed with the architectural eclecticism of the Soviet Union? Because this is, frankly, I think this is what we're building up towards. Ah, yes. My favorite feature of Soviet architecture, the void square. Texture bug? Nah, I think this was censorship. I think they were adamant about blacking something out there. Hello. Could be a broken composite image, though. I think it might be really difficult to just find a steppe village. Wow! Guys! Fuck. It's so pretty. The crazy thing is, like, I'm having a really tough time figuring out the scale. Like, if you showed me this and you were like, yeah, it's about waist deep in the middle, I would believe you. But then you notice that that's a tree down there and we're looking from a drone, not from a person's height. And it's like, oh, no, never mind. You know? Can you look at Mongolia? I guess Mongolia would be a pretty direct way of trying to find a steppe town, right? Oh. Wow, hello, City Skylines map. Holy shit, look, it's the American dream. Every house has its own backyard and picket fence. Like, for real, though. Like, and they have fucking yurts. Dude, wait. The Mongols still use yurts? That's amazing. Holy shit. Fuck yeah, dude. Absolutely. Reject modernity. Embrace yurt. They're everywhere. They also seem to be, it looks like they're all the same yurt, too. Like, it looks like they all bought them from the yurt store. Like, these aren't like home constructed yurts or whatever. Like, there's clearly some kind of, and that what you see poking up in the middle, that's firewood, right? Wait, no. No, the firewood can't go up that far. No, that would just be like some structural element. What the fuck is this guy doing? These two guys right here, yurtless. Oh, they had yurts, but now they're yurtless. Imagine being yurtless in the year of our Lord, August 2021. What is a modern yurt? Okay, if I look up modern yurt, it's bullshit Western shit. It's like, show me a modern yurt, and they're like, okay, and it's like, it's just a building that's round with a hole in the top. Like, okay, yeah, we know, but like a real yurt, modern Mongolian yurt, and then it shows me this shit that's sold to Western tourists. Yeah, okay, yeah, yes, the Mongols love their definitely not tourist fetishization of the culture with the with the checkered wooden paneling on the side and the painting of a horse. Hey, how do we make this yurt feel more Mongolian now that we've just made it like tourist bait? Well, let's have like a sketchy horse painting, you know. Okay. Regular Mongol yurt. Here we go. This is how men were meant to live, not women or non-binary people. A yurt is a portable, circular dwelling made of a lattice of flexible poles covered in felt or other fabric. It's a sturdy, reliable kind of tent. Yurts have been the primary style of home in Central Asia, particularly Mongolia, for thousands of years. Yurts take between 30 minutes and 3 hours to set up or take down, and usually house between 5 and 15 people. Wow. Wood-burning iron stove sits in the middle of a traditional yurt. Huh. Yeah, you can see there's like, I guess it's like a standard yurt. I think this is the same type of yurt in the, see, you see the pleating on the side right here, like the lines that run through. You can see it too in the Google Images thing. So I guess this is kind of like the yurt. This is how we solve the housing crisis. Unironically, a big part of mitigating the housing crisis is going to have to be like investing in and building space for like temporary housing. You know those FEMA tents or whatever? Yeah, the Fire Island tents. Like, I know it sounds cruel or whatever, but you guys have to understand, walk through Los Angeles, walk through Seattle or whatever, and tell me that the FEMA relief tents would not be literally like a million times better. Holy shit. Like, these things are waterproof, they're insulatory, you know, they'll keep the weather out, they're far larger, they have, like, yeah, it's so much better. We just need to give them yurts. Look up prefab housing. I know about prefab housing, yeah. The idea of being able to, like, take down a yurt, though, like, I don't know, it sounds pretty cool. Why don't we give the homeless those? The yurts? Whoa. Holy shit. Okay. That has to be a sauna. There's no other way that much steam could just be, like, right here. Some golden camo-y shit. Is this... Okay, for a second I thought this was the world's smallest train line. It's not a sauna, it's a hot spring. Okay, it's a hot spring, not a sauna, my bad. Oh, just looked at this one. I keep clicking the same ones. I don't know if we're going to get... What if I just Google town that looks like pathologic? Okay, we're just gonna... We're just gonna skip right to the... I've got to go. I meant to go over an hour ago. I've got to shower and I've got chores to do today. Okay, you know what? Hold on, let me just input my secret Google map search protocols. Yep. Okay. Not only have I found a town that looks just like the one in Pathologic, but I have also gotten an advanced Google Street View that will play for us so we can appreciate the steppe architecture mixed with the Soviet era, a turn of the century modern European architecture. Sorry, some visual glitches. Guys, it's just like in the game. We can't hear. Why would you hear? It's Google Maps. Why does it say stamina? Oh, that's stream glitch. All right. Why are there kids there? There are no kids in Russia. They're all at the polyhedron. All right. Hop Off Z with the tier 3 sub. Thank you very much. Rachel, thank you for the $20. It's very kind of you. Howdy. Fascism is bad. Long live the Queen. Just got in a car accident. Damn. Well, thank you for the 20 bucks. Are you sure you don't need it for any medical assistance? I hope you're doing okay. Jesus. Orc in the Basement, thank you for the $2 donations. Michael Kenny, thank you for the $2. Cunty Cat with the $5, thank you kindly. Unholy Anger, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Sake with the $10, but was 7-Eleven an inside job, Vosh? Yes, you do all of your job work in 7-Eleven inside. Charlotte 96, the $10. The U.S. almost wanted to be a global empire in all but name post 9/11. Yeah. D'Angelo, thank you for the tier 3 sub. I really appreciate it. And the $50. It's my birthday. Yes, it's actually 9/11. Gotta love it. Hell yeah. What a good birthday. Absolutely. Fuck yeah. Some dope-ass shit right there. Happy birthday. And thank you for the kind dono. Yayo and Real Allen Trump, thank you for the tier 1 subs both. Thank you very much. Nature can be beautiful, Yayo. And Real Alden Trump said, a long-time sub here, a new account. Just wanted to say, ultimately, it was you who inspired me to study poli-sci in college soon. Fuck yeah, I hope it goes well. College is miserable sometimes anyway, so when it does be miserable, don't blame me for it, okay? Revan Glass, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Always wanted to take the Trans-Siberian Railway and look through Russia. It's beautiful there, and I want to see it in person. Now I can't. That's okay. One day we will be able to. I guess it's just because I didn't jerk off yesterday, but I'm just thinking like, yes, the Trans-Siberian Railway, while railing your hot Slavic wife, you know. So, okay. Charlotte 96, the $5. Mariupol might be the new Stalingrad. In terms of proportional death count, it might end up being worse. Lolita 94, thank you for the $10. I'll give it a look when I can. Thank you. I love you. Indigo Whiskey, thank you for the $5. And also, happy birthday. Today's my birthday and also the anniversary of that time Ted Cruz liked the porn tweet and was made a count. Did Ted Cruz really like the porn tweet on 9/11? I didn't know that. That's wild. Sweet Myth and Alan Liu, thank you for the $5 both. Thank you very much. Then he's celebrating. Nurse Wheels with the $10. Thank you very much. Atheist here. I know badass priests. How do I separate watching them praying from watching a MAGA rally? Praying isn't a MAGA rally is defined by the participation of people who are expressing and celebrating their harmful political goals. Prayer just means that you're religious, and being religious just means that there's like an epistemic fault in your logical processes, in my opinion. But that doesn't mean you're bad or anything like that. It's just a vulnerability. You know, it's just it's just uh, 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 a means by which your values could be compromised, not an indication your values are compromised. I don't think they're comparable at all. I know many religious people, and I'm friends with a good few. Um, you know, there are plenty of non-religiously oriented flaws in logic, of course. Dunlamido, thank you for the $5. I do remember that. Critter Dan, thank you for the $10. My mom died on September 28th, 2001. My memory of 9/11 is mostly of the times I visited her in the hospital, and the only thing on TV was the towers falling on loop. Jesus Christ. Miserable. What a time to go. Sake with the $10. What does the world come to? There's a kaiju dating sim now. That's dope, though. Oh, dude, this is great. Pretty much everyone on the left is a monster fucker anyway. Dude, this is awesome. I like them. Sake with 20 bucks. Some of Alaska's islands look Russian, but they're optical illusions. What the fuck is illusion? Oh, that was the name of one of the islands. Fuck you, Sake. Way Too Coyote, thank you for the tier 3 sub. Really appreciate that. Hi to you as well. Done the Mino, thank you for the 5. I did. Rippy, thank you for the 5. No Clipperino, Cappuccino, Loverino, Uarino. Airlock, thank you for the tier 3 sub. We do a little trolling in the Middle East in Age of Empires. True. Seth Wiz, the $2. Have you ever gone into depth on mutualism? Sorry, poor. You don't need to apologize. I've talked about elements of mutualism, but I don't really talk about it like in that term that often. MSDXR, thank you for the incredibly kind $20. I really, really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. 420 Annaberry69, thank you for the $5 and for telling me that it's your 22nd birthday. Happy birthday, Anna. And I do love baby seals very much. Happy to grow your brain and your confidence. Zephodius, the $5. Check out the list of politicians who disappeared in Alaska. A lot of plane crashes up there. Are you suggesting it's Russian spies? Anyways, come during July, come during June, the weather is best then. I'll consider it. Sake with the $20. Post 2022 Vashite plan. Countrywide Vashite yurt dispensation, complete with Vashite pride flag outsides. Yeah, the Vashite pride flag is simply wrapped around the outer wall and inner wall of the yurt like a texture with its X value stretched. Just a visual monstrosity. Don't worry about it, Galley. And we'll hand that out to every homeless person in America. Sonny with the $5. Would you ever debate a 9/11 conspiracy theorist? I could. I know enough about the engineering side of things. The issue is that, like, the 9/11 conspiracy theorists have a bunch of... They have, like, gallons and gallons of information that's like, isn't that suspicious, but doesn't prove anything, and that's all they really have, right? The problem is, when it comes to an issue as massive as 9/11, like, 9/11, the event 9/11, has been engaged with by, like, millions of people and institutions. You know what I mean? The event is so wide-reaching, so important, so politically influential, that if you want to find connections between this and that and this the other, like, oh, this person's related to that person worked at a company, did contracting for this thing, and that company later went on to do that. Like, if you want to do that, like, you could do that for everyone. So I would be okay debating the conspiracy stuff on, like, whether or not the towers fell because of the plane, like if it was a hologram or controlled demolition or whatever. But if people want to go into the whole, like, you know, Bush let it happen, and you can tell because this one guy withdrew his stocks the one day before, like, there's not much to get into there. I really don't think Bush did it. I do, however, think it's fun to say that Bush did it, so don't worry about that, okay? I love you guys very much. You're beautiful people, and I very much enjoyed the stream. Seriously, I did. You know, I really love you guys. I hope you know that. You know, I think many people would be deeply envious of me for the quality of the audience that I have, and I'm very proud of it too. One final dono on the way out. Comrade Simric with the $20. Thanks for giving me a humorous stream on the anniversary of the event that sent me to war for 4 years. Keep fighting the good fight. Welcome back home. Sorry I had to go through that. Seriously. Take care, you guys. And while I have you here, KF Logan, Lumi Roo, Merrick. I've been over-hosting Merrick lately to the point that it's getting suspicious. However, Merrick is talking about 9/11, so I'll go with Merrick. To compensate for this... Oh, Lumi went offline? Okay. To compensate for this, if I ever see Lumi... Not Lumi, sorry. If I ever see Merrick in person, I will hit her on the ankle with a baseball bat or something. Sort of a compensation for the you know, for the hosting. It's a transactional nature of things. Actually, having been hit on the ankle with a baseball bat, that's actually a really mean thing to do to somebody. I don't know. Maybe I won't do that. I'll reconsider. You all have a wonderful day. Take care. I'll see you guys soon.